Hi there, family. Now, this note is going to be entirely extemporaneous. Now, I would have shared this experience before, so there's some of you who know it. So, if you want to skip the note, it is all right. So, I want to bring it into the context of our discussion because it fits in with the theme. And I also want to let you know, which you know, is that faith isn't something that is developed overnight. And you really cannot know the level of your faith unless it gets tested. So sometimes some of us go along tripping very nicely, having a good church life and having our devotion and having a wonderful time. And then something suddenly happens and we get kind of cat spraddled. So I want to tell you about such a time. So that you do not see me as Miss Faith. Yes, I do have a deep and trusting, a deep and wonderful faith in God because He's my Heavenly Father and He's made so many promises to me and I just believe them. Right. But back in 1998, quick now, this little mole, what kind of mole, came up on my torso, and I was wondering what was going on. So it started paining me a little bit. So I went to this doctor, and the very first morning I went to him, would you believe it? I have all of this written in a prayer letter, by the way. So if you have the book and you haven't read that part, I might need to tell which page to go to. So I went to him, and this out of the blue, without any testing, without anything, he just said very casually to me, well, if it is a malignant melanoma, you'll have about 6 months. I was totally mortified, to put it mildly. Oh my, anyhow, but he said, and then he started to talk about malignant melanomas and what they cause and told me about some other man, something or the other. That was totally unethical. Anyhow, I went on to school, and as I said, by the time I got to the school gate, it was a corpse who drove through the school gate. Well, I tell you, those few days, so I decided to go ahead and have the minor surgery, and those days were something else. I was panic stricken. I was really so very scared. Oh my goodness. So the day for the surgery came, and I've written about my great friend Jackie Craig. My mom took me, and then Jackie came and picked me up, took me to have the surgery. Then Jackie came and picked me up. And when I got home, oh man, I just started to cry. And Jackie just hugged me. I've written about that in the book. It is such a wonderful part. Such wonderful friends. Oh my goodness, Jackie cried. Hi, my sweetheart. Yes, and she prayed for me. As I said, she prayed and she prayed and she sweated like an old horse. Anyhow, so the days of waiting for these results to come back were not nice at all. I could feel the tension and the stress literally in my stomach. And the other thing too that was really kind of scary is that he said if it wasn't anything, they wouldn't call, but they would only call if it is something. So every time the phone rings, my eyes are darting over to the phone, and I'm looking to see if somebody's going to call me to the phone. Oh, that was stress. So I had a few days off from school, and I remember a morning I was going to have my devotion time. I knelt down and I was very frank with God. I said, God, I don't understand how I have a relationship with you. And having a relationship with God doesn't mean somebody's perfect. It just means they have a relationship with God where they talk with God, they bring Him their problems, and He responds. But with all the relationship and all the having quiet times and all of that, I was in a state of pure panic. So I knelt down and I said, but God, I do not understand how I have a relationship with you. And I was so frightened. At least I was honest. And the words came back to me. I had family. I had no rebuttal. Just those words. You do not trust me. Just like that. You do not trust me. I never knew that my supposed trust in God was weak because I didn't know, because it had never been tested. And as I continued kneeling, God showed me a platform, and He said, you go on that, like the platform of faith, you go on that platform, stay in the middle, don't come near the edge, you might get pulled off. I've never forgotten that. I mean, God speaks to us in different ways, and sometimes it gets things in images, and that platform of faith has always stayed with me. Well, God was correct. I really didn't know how to trust him. I am very glad that those horrible feelings of panic and fear and anxiety and dread and trepidation were not with me from 2003. Well, let's say 2004, because it was in 2003 I started to lose the weight. And at first I was a bit perturbed. But once I took the matter to God in prayer, the purpose of me sharing my experience with you, family, or there my time gone, is to tell you, take things to God in prayer. Spread out your situation before God in prayer. Ask him to help you and then believe that he will help you. That is the crux of the matter. So let me finish the tale quick. So the doctor said they would have to excise the thing, which they did, and checked it in the lab. And very good friend of mine, wonderful person. He has passed now. Wonderful friend. He was able the Friday evening, because I felt as though I was on a ledge and I was about to tumble off. He called back, and as soon as I picked the phone, I heard his voice. He said, everything is all right. It was as though somebody had let me down. But that experience really let me know, because you have a relationship with God and you go to church and do all of that stuff, except you get a test, you will not know if you really, really trust God. I trust my Heavenly Father because I'm giving my will into him, and I'm not one of those who would tell God, do this and do that and don't let this happen. No. I know he loves me. I have no doubt about that. And he loves you too. So trust is a process. It's a growing thing, but we have to release ourselves to God. All right, family. Did not mean to prattle on for so long. Please forgive me. All right. We're going to pick up the next thing. Bye-bye.